Hey everyone, so let's go over some feedback I got from PeterSweden's following after that video I made about him.
Video response to Angry Foreigner, the infidel. Anyway, you fucking piece of garbage, okay? You want to come at PeterSweden? Now let's get it in. You're also making money, so what does it matter? Why you want to come at PeterSweden? You're also making money, infidel. You fucking maggot. Would have just stayed in your own fucking country. You wouldn't have this problem at all. Fucking scum. This shit pisses me off. I guess nothing bad's happening, right? What about Britain? No girls, Rotherham was made up, so none of that stuff happened. What about Scotland? What about Ireland? Guess that's a lie too. Germany, that's also a lie too. Cologne, and every year now, Norway, Finland, Denmark, and Netherlands. Those are lies, right? All that stuff's a lie. Aren't they, infidel? That's why I don't want people like you in my fucking country. Because you're scum. I wouldn't have known anything about it had you fucking Islamic demons.
So, I've been called a lot of things over the years, but that's a new one. This Slavic Turkish monkey is a self-professed hardcore leftist. Send that Bosnian cocksucker back to Bosnia. Alcoholic fake news scumbag. Angry Foreigner is a communist. Leftist cock. Are you a Muslim? There's no facts here. Anyone with a brain can see through your liberal agenda. Why are you a traitor to PeterSweden? He was your soulmate. Unsub, 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 unsub. Angry Foreigner is nothing but a far-left cultural Marxist globalist.
You're not getting our firearms. Do you understand?
You are member of Illuminati, you are devil, you are bad. The worst man in the world you are, fuck you motherfucker shit fuck. Holy shit fuck you, you will die you fucker. Surprise motherfucker. You are
annoying fucking piece of shit. Please fucking kill yourself, drama queen, Muslim cocksucking bastard. Fuck, this guy's a douche. It's like CNN. Go fuck yourself, piece of shit. If I see you, you will die. PeterSweden deserves a Nobel Prize. Where is your actual proof of the Holocaust? Here's an angry Serb saying something about my jihad mother and pissing on the Bosnian flag. But I thought Serbs weren't an aggressive people. Bisexual Satanist, drunken drug user. Could Angry Foreigner be a follower of Muhammad? His Muslim aggression is coming out and it's showing since his granddad Prophet Muhammad. Angry Foreigner is a Muslim immigrant from Bosnia. He hates Sweden. This Angry Foreigner is a Muslim. He's a closet Muslim. But where the guy is a Muslim. He's just attacking Peter because he's an immigrant. And he doesn't like it when Peter criticizes his kind. Angry Foreigner should go back to Bosnia. Starting to like the Nordic resistance movement. I see your Christian message of love and tolerance really resonates with your audience here.
Yeah, you Angry Foreigner, you're a piece of shit, and I'd love to knock you the fuck out.
I thought Christians were supposed to turn the other cheek. Unless they're badass Old Testament Christians, of course. In which case, killing gay people isn't murder, whereas killing a collection of cells which have yet to evolve to a human being is. A robot is closer to consciousness than a fetus, okay? I'm not surprised at all at this aggression though, since the Bible is full of various commands like killing people for leaving Christianity, killing women for fucking before marriage, killing children for being rebellious, and when the only group of respectable feminists on earth, Femin, decided to do some Brazzers-style blasphemy in the Vatican, Christians called for the death penalty by quoting from the Bible. Because that's in the Bible too. The Bible also justified slavery, and Christianity makes you think that women who have abortions are just as bad as the Nazis. Wow. If you want to try and oppose abortion, how about not being a walking argument for abortion? And why do I suspect that you would be okay with abortion if you could tell whether or not a kid is gonna be gay? So there's a lot of hate in that book, and the only reason your religion is annoying at best right now is because it's been rewritten so many times that it's not even close to the original anymore, except for the part about killing homosexuals. That appears in every version of the Bible. My point is, don't get cocky, because the best thing you got going for yourselves is that you're pussies with amnesia. You believe the same shit as Muslims, only you don't have the balls to act on it. Milo is hypocritical on this issue as well, whining about how cruel Islam is to gays, when his own religion dictates he'll be tortured in hell for all eternity just because he likes to suck black dick. Speaking of which, don't forget to visit the site of our sponsors, www.blacked.com. Black.com. How millennials pay their bills. European ghettos are far more safer than American schools. Yeah. Lisbeth says, I still have hope for Sweden, and you were the one sparking it. I wonder if PeterSweden gets comments like that. I'd love to see you and Peter in gay porn fucking each other. And I want you to write a very elaborate comment on what that would look like. In fact, I would like even more people to join in on that and make it a writing game. And then the one who makes the best satire will win the honor of being the pinned top comment on this video. Then I want people to comment on that comment and elaborate the story even further. And go!
I think Angry Foreigner is jealous.
What other motivation could he have other than jealousy?
I think he's jealous of big names endorsing you.
Me being jealous of PeterSweden is like a 5-year-old kid being jealous of the afterbirth.
But I wanna go back there, mommy. Let me back inside.
Baby wants to fuck. Baby wants to fuck. Who the fuck wants to get endorsed by Ann Coulter? She's so dumb that she confused Egypt with Libya.
Hey, what do you think about Libya and Egypt? As long as I have you here.
What about them?
Are you in favor of us intervening in these two countries that didn't hit us on 9/11 solely for purposes of regime change?
Well, first of all, I didn't think we were intervening in Egypt. Are we?
We did.
What'd we do? What'd we do in Egypt?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Intervene or military? I mean, there's a difference.
You mean we talked about it?
We
Yeah.
talked about it.
Okay.
Well, we can talk.
But we didn't send any troops or anything.
Yeah,
Well, okay,
didn't fly any
bombs or something.
we're not dropping bombs
not in Egypt.
No, just Libya.
No bombs in Egypt.
Now I understand that not everyone is good with geography, but if you're a political pundit who comments on geopolitics, maybe you should know where the countries are! I mean, yeah, she does make good points sometimes, but ultimately she's a neocon cunt of the same imperialist ilk as Obama and Bush.
We are at war with all these fanatics, and we should invade their countries, kill their leaders, and convert them to Christianity.
Yeah, that's so nationalist. Really respecting the independence of nations and their cultures there. Oh hey look, one of my followers got so inspired by my gay porn request, she even made a picture of what me banging Peter would look like. Thanks a lot, Mika. I can see you got quite the talent to develop there. Keep doing what you're doing.
You are the most degenerate, twisted, mentally ill people I've ever seen.
Follow this girl on Twitter if you'd like. You can find her on a link in the video description.
Haters are just gonna hate. They're evil people.
Yeah, I'm just pure evil. Case closed. He resorts to tearing you down because he doesn't have the mental wherewithal to come up with a decent argument or line of reasoning to support his opinion of you. I understand having that opinion, if you're too dumb to be able to watch more than 2 minutes of a video. Also, notice her profile. Pro-Christianity, anti-Scientology. Yeah, because one ridiculous religion where you worship a Jewish zombie and symbolically eat his flesh and drink his blood is way better than this other ridiculous religion where you believe that negative emotions are alien spirits trapped in your body. Oh, you're so entitled to a moral high ground there. And then I noticed that she has the audacity to retweet this. Never blindly follow someone. Find the real truth on your own. Blindly trusting is a dangerous thing. Never questioning is a dangerous thing. Many attempt to take advantage of the people by acting as if they have power or acting as a prophet to a higher power. This is why I hate everyone. People are rarely intelligent enough to realize the difference between words and actions. Brain-dead pack animals think it's enough to use labels to achieve that instead. And there's plenty of that both on the left and the right.
Angry Foreigner is bitter, lonely, and depressed, even if he doesn't know it. He needs our prayers.
What, so you sitting in a room saying words is gonna somehow send magical stuff into my brain? I don't think I gave you consent for that. Stop prey raping me! See, this is why I really don't want to go to heaven. Can you imagine being surrounded by these assholes for the rest of eternity?
If you had your way, and all your products, forget that any of them are calculated marketing teases, and your dreams, which are genuine, came true, having to do with immigration, having to do with with abortion, what would this country look like?
It would look like New York City during the Republican National Convention. In fact, that's what I think heaven's going to look like.
You can't spell prayer without rape. I really don't understand why people attack other and try to start shit like Arblatte Talar. Literally is no reason for him to attack me like he did in this video. Sad to see so much. He threatened. All he could come up with was personal attacks on my appearance.
Oh, you look sexy. He's wrong.
Yeah, I'm not gay, so I'm not trying to judge your level of attractiveness here. What I am doing, however, is illustrating your parasitic properties through humor. And if you could just take a second-long break from eating babies, maybe you would realize that.
As soon as the foul language comes in, I close my ears, walk away, and know that I won.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that, Snowflake.
I won.
I find your comments about the ghetto and the people fascinating, especially about them wanting more police themselves. Most are actually fine, and that story of them laughing at the criminal. Partially because this is the first time I have heard of this ever. Are there any more reports, articles, or other resources describing what you said? I would greatly appreciate it. Well, no, because that wouldn't suit the media narrative. Leftist media view immigrants as pets. That's why they only ever give a voice to angry black radicals. Because they're cute and exotic little monkeys. But most immigrants aren't ungrateful retards, and sadly, you're not gonna know this unless you actually go out into the real world, out into the ghetto, and talk to the people there. And this really illustrates the danger of living in this information bubble where you think that the only truth available is the one being reported by someone else. People need to connect more, because at the end of the day, the media is just other people. Now, considering how much Peter's audience is whining about no-go zones, it's pretty fucking hypocritical that they would be against cannabis legalization. Because what do you think it is that these gangs are fighting each other over? What do you think their funding comes from? You take that monopoly away from them and suddenly they can't afford fancy weapons anymore.
So I had a look at Arblatte Talar YouTube channel, and it seems like he has habit of bullying and harassing people he doesn't like. He just made a video where he called me all sorts of foul names. Sad to see that such people exist. Choose love, not hatred and bullying.
Don't you bully people who drink soy? Because there's a ton of mockery coming from your direction, and it's for something so trivial as people drinking a different beverage. You even went so far as to make this cringe fest of a video.
What happened to me? Oh, bad moves. Oh, my voice. Oh no. Oh, this looks pretty. Feeling strong already.
Estrogen doesn't make your voice go higher, dude. Are you parodying your own side? Because that's the only way this makes any sense. A grown man made this and thought it was clever. Think about that for a minute. Now see, when you're so fucking bad that this guy is owning your ass, you really need to think about what you're doing with your life. By the way, you're trying way too hard to do a fucking sit-up, dude. How can that be so straining? I barely work out and I drink beer all day, and even I can do it with less effort than that.
Look at this. Look at this fucking... I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I'm out of shape like shit. Look at this juicy fucking gut. You see this shit? You see this juicy, jiggly fucking shit? How the fuck do I do this better than you, you white mongrel Norwegian chode? Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, speaking of which, I know H-Bomber Guy is a really intolerable asshole, but he actually did a really good video using science to tell the actual truth about soy boys. And I can tell you that I've never seen Paul Joseph Watson get pwned this hard before. So I really think you should check this video out. Sorry, Paul. I still like you, and it's still a funny insult, but it's a metaphor at best.
What was this?
It seems that Peter discovered the pictures of us banging in hell and is now talking about a potential lawsuit. He also contacted Twitter to complain about harassment and asked that I get my account terminated, prompting many of his followers to do the same. There is about 100 replies to this tweet, and a large portion of them are just saying, "Report it!"
Oh wait, what's this? A Danish comedy series is completely making fun of Sweden. Danish people are mocking Swedes for their feminism and political correctness. They get absolutely destroyed. This is the funniest thing ever. How will Sweden ever recover?
This guy is such a wormy little piece of shit. It's okay when we do it, right? People who eat soy, leftists, feminists, Swedish people in general, it's okay to bully them, right? It's okay to make fun of them. But how dare you make a satirical picture of me? Freedom of expression is very important to Peter and his followers, until someone draws a cartoon. Then someone issues a fatwa to get you banned from Twitter. Here's Peter getting hysterical over a woman being prosecuted for posting a satirical picture of Muslims on Facebook. This is the picture. It says, how to make a Muslim, and shows someone replacing the brain with feces. Not very nice, now is it? But Peter thinks that should be okay, because otherwise Sweden is a totalitarian communist hellhole. And I agree with him. That should be okay, even if it hurts many people's feelings. But here's Peter calling my picture a criminal offense, while referring to the Islam joke with 1984 is here! Yeah, and authoritarianism starts with image censorship. Sound familiar to anyone? Look at this satire. Does this look nice to you? Does it look like anything other than dehumanizing? Does it look empathic? Couldn't this be defined as a kind of bullying? This guy rants and raves about how terrible communism is all day long, but as soon as someone draws a simple picture, his true colors come out.
Really Orwellian 1984 stuff.
When his side does it, it's humor. When others do it, it's bullying.
In fact, quite the contrary. I love homosexual people. One of my best friends is a homosexual.
Yeah, I don't buy that. Nobody who feels that way would get that offended and hysterical about a silly cartoon. They also wouldn't insist that it's rape when it's clearly consensual BDSM, and when the artist herself declared her intentions with it, and when it doesn't even look like rape. You're being an alarmist again, Peter! Now, if I'm not mistaken, you're the one that told us to choose love.
Be loving.
Well, that's what I did. And you threatened me with a lawsuit. So why don't you just make up your mind, bruh? And now we call the police to report me. The police are too busy with murders to be able to investigate rapes of children. And this overly sensitive mangina wants to waste what little resources they have on a fucking cartoon. Yeah, hello, police? I'm offended.
You people are enemies, and we're gonna get your ass. Know what you're up to, and we're coming for you.
Peter says, I would recommend everyone not to take the angry foreigner seriously. Ah, are you gonna ask the police to include that in their report as well? None of this is serious, but it still deserves priority over rapes and murder. You should print this out and take it with you to the police station. Record your interaction, just in case they don't take it seriously because you're conservative. Yeah, I really think you should do this, Peter. Make sure to have someone recording, and when they laugh in your face because you're a fucking clown, you can write 15 tweets about how the government just hates conservatives for no reason. Threats of physical violence is not free speech. I agree, but nobody ever threatened you. So using the feminist definition of rape really doesn't reflect well upon you. So the guy who fled England due to a lack of freedom of speech is calling the cops on someone because of a tweet. This picture isn't a threat to your safety. It's a threat to your ego. Your own fans have sent me worse threats than that. Does it look like I give a shit? This is the definition of a hypocrite. Complaining about the lack of police resources while wasting them himself. These are threats of physical violence, and it could encourage people to commit violence against me. If you want to convince people that you're not a homophobe, maybe you shouldn't assume that every man within a 5-mile radius is conspiring to fuck you. Now let's get to Baby Dick Dracula himself, because he promised an epic takedown video and bragged about how much he owned me. So what does he have to say?
What this angry foreigner guy is saying here is completely false. He is the one that's lying and being disingenuous.
That's very convincing, Peter.
Now this video is going to be quite long because this other guy who made the video did a very long video. He spent half an hour calling me all kinds of foul names, personal attacks and ad hominem. Coming with personal attacks for a full half an hour. Personal insults, ad hominem attacks. Coming with no facts and no logical arguments at all. Fake news. These are ad hominem attacks, I mean personal attacks and ad hominem. Personal insults and ad hominem attacks against attacks me. Did a video attacking me. Attacks me. Ad hominem and personal attacks. That is what all this video is about. So here we have another ad hominem attack again, personal attack. Notice again how he's coming with with personal attacks and ad hominem attacks. This is a really low from you. More personal insults and ad hominem attacks. They just keep on coming! Yeah, coming!
It kind of sounds like you're coming, Peter.
Are you got that from the mainstream media. Fake news.
Is it, Peter? Is it really?
Oh!
Yeah.
In fact,
did it feel good, Peter?
Coming yet again.
Oh, he's getting ready to blow another load.
Ooh.
Nice.
Now we're getting into the really interesting part where I'm about to start picking apart this guy's so-called logic with actual logic and reason, just like Jordan Peterson did on the Channel 4 interview.
You're just as insightful as Jordan Peterson, sure.
I am a Swedish citizen. You can see my passport here on the screen. And I've lived most of my life in Sweden. Now, I had to leave Sweden a couple of years ago.
A couple of years ago, huh? On Twitter you said that you've lived in the UK for the past 12 years, up until 2016. Then you moved to Sweden briefly, before settling in Norway. On Twitter you complained about being drafted to the Norwegian army. Well, Swedes get conscription letters from the Swedish military, not the Norwegian military. And on your passport it clearly states that you were born in Norway. If that wasn't obvious enough from your Norwegian accent that never seems to disappear. Now, both on Twitter and in your tedious video response, you kept repeating how illegitimate it is of me that I used a far-left website as my source. Well, jackass! Hope Not Hate used official records showing how massively in-depth your family is. Hope Not Hate is not the source here. The government is. Hope Not Hate just delivered the sources. And it's funny how in their article they used your own tweets as sources for their claims, but those tweets have since mysteriously disappeared from your Twitter. All of them. There does, however, remain a company registered document which illustrates that your nationality is clearly British. You registered this yourself. Then you changed it to Swedish later on. So it doesn't matter what lies you try to fool people with, because the paper trail that you left speaks against you.
I mean, here's a question for you. Why are you using a far-left group funded by George Soros as a source for your video?
Well, why are you using a socialist newspaper like Aftonbladet for your tweets then? Or a left-wing media like SVT, or Metro, or Nyheter 24? Hell, you're even using international leftist media like the New York Times. Shouldn't all of these be illegitimate sources because of their political affiliation? Also, notice how absolutely narcissistic and dishonest this guy really is. Quote, I have been reporting on this for the past year. Finally, the mainstream media is catching up. You haven't been reporting on anything. You've just been sharing links from the Swedish mainstream media about grenade attacks. Yeah, that's right. This is hardly a taboo topic in Sweden. All of the so-called important journalism Peter has been doing came straight from the mainstream media that he keeps telling you not to trust. Now, I'm sure that you have a Swedish citizenship, but that doesn't mean anything since African migrants get those as well. I've still lived in Sweden much longer than you, and therefore it is complete bullshit of you to base your entire persona on being Swedish.
Why don't you go and die, you fucking crypto-Islamist?
Yeah, I'm the crypto-Islamist. Because Muslim radicals usually drink a lot of beer, argue against slut-shaming, and defend female voting rights. That's it. Right. It's funny how PeterSweden has... Oh, fuck. No, but really, it's funny how PeterSweden has more religious values than I do, and yet I get the Muslim label simply because of my background. You people are so dumb, you make the left look sane when they ramble on about Islamophobia.
This guy thinks it's a problem that I make a video highlighting the problems that are happening in Sweden, and he thinks it's a problem that they get lots of views. Why? Don't you want people to know what's happening in Sweden?
Yeah, that's why I've been talking about it for 4 years. And in case you haven't noticed, he's actually using a pretty prominent sociopath tactic here called gaslighting, where you essentially ignore large parts of what someone is saying in order to make them look delusional.
Doesn't make any sense. Do you hate Sweden? What's the problem here?
Yeah, I just hate Sweden. That's why I take personal risks to speak uncomfortable truths about Sweden. If I didn't care about Sweden, I wouldn't be saying that it's not a lost cause. like you are. And then he starts talking about stuff that I've already addressed over the years, like the rape rates.
How bad is it really? Because it's actually worse than you think when you look a little bit deeper into the details here. The average lifespan of a woman is about 84-85 years in Sweden. So if you do the maths, 1 in 8 Swedish women will sadly be raped in her lifetime.
Well, I mean, that's just not true. If you read the Central Bureau of Crime Statistics, they say that 42% of the people exposed to sex offenses were exposed between 2 and 9 times. 12% were exposed 10 times or more, meaning that a large part of offenses is happening to the same individuals, which brings the overall number down. And it also gets tricky when you completely ignore demographics, like Peter does, because the risk varies greatly with age groups, ethnicity, location, and living conditions. People who live in big cities are twice as likely to be victimized as people who live in small towns. And second-generation immigrant women are more likely to be victimized than Swedish women. Therefore, you can't speak generally on all women. The way that they did their math here is pretty ridiculous. The 1 in 8 number that they came up with doesn't even apply to a decade. They're talking 1 in 8 over the course of 85 years. And that's assuming that Sweden has the exact same number of rapes every year, which is not how you do statistics, but anyway, they're not talking 1 in 8 during 1 year, or even 10 years. They're talking 1 in 8 over 85 years. There's a subtle but important difference there. But in either case, they're even wrong there. I would also like Peter to answer this. If you got to decide, abortion would be illegal. So what do you think that those rape victims should do if they get pregnant? Should they just murder their children? Hashtag God loves rape babies.
The bombing crisis in Sweden. Why doesn't Angry Foreigner guy mention anything about this? Last year in Sweden, in 2017, there were 200 explosion attacks.
You do understand that fireworks count as explosives, right? When it comes to hand grenades specifically, there were 21 detonations in all of 2017. And here you are trying to make Sweden sound like Mexico.
Because according to the statistics, Sweden actually rivals Mexico when it comes to hand grenade attacks.
Well, that's funny because your source says that the part about hand grenades was a mistake and has since been removed. So very nice source critique there.
Yet this Angry Foreigner dude is claiming that I'm the alarmist, the sensationalist.
Don't you regret those words? PeterSweden is not technically wrong in saying that there's a bad situation with rape, shootings, and grenades in Sweden, because any amount of those incidents is unacceptable. But when he gets into the details is when he starts painting up a false image. And the details make out the whole. The problem with alarmism is that you're giving the social justice left ammunition to claim that the right is creating false information to feed their own narrative. Essentially, alarmists work as disinformation agents, making it harder for people to accept the real truth once it finally reaches them. Put simply, don't underestimate the damage that sloppy journalism can accomplish. Your exaggerations hurt anyone else speaking out on these issues. You think I want to get lumped in with people like you? I've been doing this for 4 years, trying to wake people up before you realize that you can make money off of exploiting Sweden for shock journalism. And now you're making all of us look less credible just because you want to pander to stupid fucking Americans. Even the Swedish alt-right dislikes you. The golden one liked my video, and so did Chris Dolman. And there is a point to be made here, since ethno-nationalists don't have any problems pointing out the issues that they see in society, regardless of taboo. These are people who hate leftists and immigration more than anything. And even they are sick of Peter. Chris even went so far as to describe interracial relations as a risk behavior. And even he thinks that Peter is an exaggerating alarmist. Can you believe that? Even Red Ice TV made a video about this guy. If Nazis who believe that lizard aliens rule the world are telling you that you're an alarmist, maybe it's time to listen.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, okay? No more.
And the point is this. If Hungary can go from being a Turkish province for 100 years to the strongest voice of nationalism in Europe today, then there is plenty of hope left for Sweden, Germany, France, and Britain. This is not over until we say it's over. So fuck you for even hinting that this country is doomed.